Tonight here at home, we reflect on the life and the legacy of the civil rights icon Jesse Jackson, a man whose voice gave hope to a nation and whose 1988 presidential campaign made history. In Flint and Genesee County, that history had a local architect, the late Floyd Clack, who chaired Jackson's 1988 presidential campaign. Our Don Jones sat down with his wife and son, remembering both men tonight and the movement they shared.
He set the tone for Barack.
In 1988, when many doubted a black man could mount a serious run for the White House, Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. ran anyway.
He was handsome and electric.
But what Brenda Clack, a retired educator and public servant, remembers most is the way he inspired people.
His words were of hope to tell little kids, I am somebody. To repeat that, it just resonated in your heart.
In '88, Clack's late husband, Floyd, was a state representative, and he was tapped by Reverend Jackson to chair the Flint and Genesee County Jackson for President campaign.
He was considered to be a leader in this community, and he saw it as an obligation, not for fanfare, not for recognition, but he saw it as an obligation, not necessarily an honor, to be in this man's presence because what he had meant to him. And he loved every minute of it.
She remembers the energy of the moment, the phone calls, the organizing, the strategy sessions, and Jackson's hope for this community.
I remember at dinner, we were talking about Flint, and he was aware of the conditions in Flint in '88. He knew that a lot of people had migrated from the South to Flint for better lives. And he appreciated that. He was proud that a generation now could pass that wealth on to another generation. He said, this city can grow.
Clack says it was a sacrifice. She recalls her husband and others going to D.C. for election night.
Floyd and Reverend Sheldon called him and said, Floyd, we need to head to D.C. It was in the a.m. Do you know he left? He left me and Michael and Mia and headed for D.C. He was just that committed. They wanted to be there when the announcement was made.
Clack shared this family photo. It shows Reverend Jackson holding her daughter and her son Michael standing nearby. Michael was 8 years old at the time, watching history unfold from church pews and back rooms.
And my dad was one of those type of people that would take me everywhere, and as a kid, I'm thinking that my dad is the most famous person on the face of the earth.
He remembers meeting Jackson for the first time as a child and says he was starstruck, but it wasn't by Jackson.
And this one specific person that I remember was Tootie. Kim Fields was with him. I would just remember being so starstruck, like, she's here. And me being a kid, that was like my first real crush, I guess, so to speak.
The Clacks will remember Reverend Jackson as a gentleman, a man who sacrificed for justice.
But let's don't forget, he had a master teacher in Martin Luther King Jr. He had a master teacher their ways of dealing were totally different, but the foundation was there.
Jackson built on that foundation, inspiring the masses with 3 simple words.
I am somebody. It's telling them you're somebody, so one day you're going to be somebody more than you are now.
But she believes his most enduring legacy will not be what he said, but what he did.
And I just believe his legacy, the greatest, that voter registration changed lives. I mean, he inspired people to get registered to vote. And that generation inspired the next generation to register.
Michael believes the death of this civil rights giant just might inspire others to join in the fight.
Maybe it will. Maybe it might open up some eyes of some people that have kind of not been in the fight and get them back into the fight, because we need everybody. All hands need to be on deck right now.
That was ABC 12's Don Jones reporting.